Hey, welcome back. This is Top Fuel for top performers, and yeah, I'm just going to stick with what I know here. It's race day, so let's get out there and go racing. It's a 2-hour drive to get there for me. Trailer's loaded up. Let's get on the line. Pros have already gone, intermediates have left, and it's time for the plus 40s to line up. There's Al calling me out for getting a little too far forward.
Holy shit.
Yes, I did. I was trying to get the whole shot because I knew that I was not going to get on the podium for this race. But you know what? This race went okay for what it was, which is a season opener and in some pretty rough conditions. And for my troubles, I did not get the whole shot. Real close, and that's probably one of my best starts ever. Hey, there's Christine. She's out riding. Dean's somewhere in the pack here. I think he's behind me right now, but that's not going to last. He actually does really well in this race. I think 5th? Let me double check that. In fact, he does take 5th. Good ride, Dean. The conditions out here are somewhere just before the mud getting tacky, so it's still a little bit slippery, and that condition kind of hangs out for the whole day because we get a little intermittent rain, and there was one point where the sun actually burned through. But as you saw my front end kind of slide off that route, those are the things you got to watch for because it doesn't matter how much it dries up, those routes are going to be slippery. There's no shortage of routes out here. It just is what it is. You run a bunch of dirt bikes through the woods and they tend to expose all the routes, and you just kind of got to float the front end and not get too happy on the throttle. Stay steady. Right here I got to heave over and let the faster guys by. First bike, that was 240, and that was Bernie. He takes 2nd overall in the plus 40 class. Followed by Alexander, who was in the intermediate A, and he's on bike 187. And then it was Dean Arsenal, not the same Dean that I was talking about earlier, on bike 152. He takes 4th overall in the plus 40 class, so I'm down a couple more positions. There's 2 lessons that I'm taking away from this race, and the first one was that if you're going to be fast off the start, you need to be able to endure for those first 15 minutes or so until your body adapts to what you just did, which was a jackrabbit start. If you don't do that, well, you're going to burn out and you're going to have to pull over. And as is the case for me, I have to learn lessons over and over again because they don't always stick the first time. It might be a man thing, it may be just a me thing, I'm not sure. But if you recall, I did the exact same thing in Penobscot where I came off the line hot and did really well getting into the woods and kind of burned out and had to slow down until I got into my 2nd lap. And the second lesson, and you're probably already screaming it at the screen, is to stand up. The more you can stand up, the more you can let the bike move around naturally underneath you, and your ass doesn't get beat to pieces like Jagmeet Singh in an election. I noticed at this point that the bike was sounding a little bit off and maybe feeling a little bit off, and I was attributing it to all the mud that was built up on it and the wet conditions. But I think what it was that it's time to do the top end. And so as of the making of this video on 24 May, I did the top end this morning and then decided to come in and carry on with the bike stuff by making this video. This video is only the first lap and it's pared down at that. I do about 30 minutes to a lap, and I wasn't really pushing the pace. Honestly, I could have rode 5-6 laps pretty comfortably, and I think, could be wrong. As it is, did 3 laps, felt fresh, no ill effects, could have done the race again the next day. So this is the first obstacle here on the first lap, and it's kind of jacked up with some riders who are crossed up on the hill. Dean's having none of it, that's him that's scooting in, and that's what I should have done as soon as I got to the hill. I was trying to decide whether to keep my goggles on, which are still covered in mud, or to take them off. As it is, I kept them on because I figured there'd be some roost flying. This is kind of a mindset thing, but keep moving. Don't get held up and wait for riders to clear unless you absolutely have to. Find a line around them or through them if you have to. Dean's plowing that line for me, so I'm going to tuck in behind him, and we're both going to get up and out of here. He's just going to do it faster than me.
Come on, Dean! Shut forward!
I'm not chirping, I'm giving words of encouragement. I want the guy in gray to kind of just move a little bit so we can get going, because if you don't want to go, we do. In the past, I've called this kind of racing beer league racing, and it is. Not that you're swilling beer on the race, it just means that it's more of a social event and it's for fun, and you can be competitive, but you don't need to be all shouty and screamy because you're not going to make any money on this. In fact, you're going to spend money, and if you do win, you're going to get a piece of plastic. It seems last year I lost sight of that a little bit. It is still collegial, and I understand you're not winning any money, but we are competitive by nature for the most part. Sometimes I get fired up. And so, as a consequence, I just took myself out of racing for the rest of the year. I had to remember that this is just for fun, like hitting trees.
Buck stopping in that shit.
Goes back to my idea that you need to keep moving. I didn't want to stop on that hill, I didn't want to stop and wait. I didn't want to try and blast by people and cause a wreck, I just wanted to get by, and so that's what we did. Thread the needle, find your line, keep moving.
That killed me.
Yep, every time you got to get off your bike and push, it's like doing a hit. So if you're someone who goes to the gym, high intensity interval training, do a couple of those, and that's what it's like when you get off the bike. Everything else is like a steady workout. And I should add, it's a steady workout while someone's smashing your ass with a paddle, because if you're sitting down as much as me, you're getting beat up.
Oh, shitty.
Not looking ahead, I
Bad
put
line.
myself in a bad line, which means I gotta get off the bike and do another hit.
I'm not going to get out of this one.
In these moments, it pays to pause for a second and kind of think, what are you trying to do? You want to get your front end over somewhere where you can move and your back end into some traction. Which is what I did, pulled myself out of that little rut, and now I can keep moving. Well, messing around on the hill cost me another position, although Josh on bike 415 just in front of me, he's not in my class, so that's okay. We're going to do a little battle here, and I think I inadvertently stuffed him on one of these hills.
Ooh, nice.
Josh is moving pretty good here, so like a butt-sniffing dog, I'm going to try and stay on his tail and follow him through. Josh gives a little shoulder check, and I appreciate that. That's good etiquette. I do the same thing all the time because I'm more often than not getting passed. Josh, you don't need to worry. I'm not going to pass you here anytime soon. Well, I'm going to get you in a minute, but I appreciate you, man.
Oh, bad, we got legs.
I know what's coming around this corner, and I know this is my opportunity to get in front of Josh, so I'm going to take it. Hey, there's Nick. Old NT's not racing this year, but he is sweeping, and I think he's having a hell of a lot of fun. He chases me for a little bit to try and keep me moving, and gives me some words of encouragement. I also appreciate that. Thanks, NT.
Fuck.
I don't know what it was on this race. I've never had trouble with this hill. I've cleaned it every time in the past. Now I'm just seem to be struggling. And in fact, in my third lap, when I come up this, I almost looped the bike out. Not sure what was happening.
Good ride though, David.
Oh,
You paced yourself.
yeah. Go wide.
And that's how fast a little bit of a lead can evaporate. You get hung up on a bit of a technical section, you slow down, you pull over, stop to take a leak, stop to take a drink, and you're going to lose time. Gotta keep moving.
Oh, the arms.
Well, that just about brings us to the end of the first lap, and I do 2 more after this, and I finished 7th overall in my class. I feel pretty good about that. Not bad. Still had a lot in the tank, like I said, so could probably do better. We'll see. Next race is 8 June, and that's down in Penobscot. We'll see if I can make that one, but I am moving. I'm moving from New Brunswick to Nova Scotia, and that takes a lot of coordination, and there's a lot going on to make that move. Selling a house, buying a house, packing up a bunch of stuff, and making that move happen. So we'll see if I can make it.
Oh, shit. You're welcome. Oh, come on. You got it, boss.